Hey man, this is really good shit, huh? Yeah, man, this is really cool. I'm feeling really good, man. I can't wait to get home. We can watch our favorite video podcast. Hey, I'm talking here. Oh, yeah, man. I love that show, man, with Steve Rizzo and Eric Bam, the Bam Man, man. Wow. Hey, I was thinking, I wonder if those guys get high. No, man, I think they're on a natural high. Hey, you're probably right, man. Let's get going. Hey man, how you doing, man? Welcome to my show, man. Hey, I'm talking here. Hey man, it's a really good show, man. Steve Rizzo here, and welcome to Hey, I Am Talking Here. This is a entertaining show about empowerment, and it's a show that could take you to a better place personally and professionally. And I'm just in a really good mood today. So, and the show is, by the way, brought to you. Let's go. Hey, Randy. Hey, let's go. Let's go. And the show is brought to you by Conversations with Bob. And that's my new book that came out a few weeks ago. It's already 5 stars on Amazon. And if you want to know who Bob is, folks, I know some of you regular listeners know, but Bob is God. You can call it the universe, the light, the force, doesn't matter what you call it. It's important that you all know that we do have this power within us. And if you learn how to connect with it and communicate with it, it can make a major difference in your life. And what, Bob? Oh, Bob has a message for you. He said, after you've read the book from cover to cover, you will realize how much power you have over every aspect of your life. I didn't say it. That's Bob talking. I'm just saying, don't argue with the guy. He's got a lot of power. I'm just saying. Let me introduce you right now my team, which I couldn't do this show without. We have my tech guy, my director, my producer, and a good friend, Bruce. Come on.
Here.
Hey, how you doing?
Speaking of power,
yeah.
So how's your week? Keeping cool, because we get 90-degree weather here in Chicago.
You and Eric are getting. It's amazing. You're getting 90. He's getting 99. We're having like right now. Today was like in the 60s, but yesterday was 48 degrees in New York. I live on Long Island. It's strange here. It really is. I
got a report from my car. It says 106 degrees inside the car. So I turned the air conditioning on when I was still in the office.
Your car told you it was 106? Yeah. Really? Hey, I'm hot. Do something.
It's kind of like shit.
Eric, come on, man. It's the band. It's the Bear Man reading the book.
Oh, sorry. We're doing something. Sorry, I was checking this out.
Well, at least it was worth your while.
Yeah.
So are you on your 3rd or 4th read of the book?
I'm on my 14th, actually. So pretty exciting.
Yeah, because it's to have a book you can read more than once and actually get more out of it the second, third time.
I'm on my 2nd time reading it, and you know what I'm doing now with it, like I do with a lot of books. This is a book that you can kind of jump from chapter to chapter. Yep. And the book, the chapter on action, and I think that's 6 or 8. I think
6.
I love it. It's my favorite chapter so far.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. And that's why I broke it down that way. And I'm getting the same feedback. And I appreciate you saying that. It's broken into 4 parts. And each part has 4 chapters. So there's 16 chapters. And the thing is, you could read part 3 or part 4 anytime you want to. So you go through the whole book, you read it, and then there are certain times you just want to pick out a part that you want to focus on because each part has a separate message. So I appreciate you saying that.
It's kind of like motivational speaking or eating. If you eat once, you got to eat tomorrow. So if you see a motivational speaker, you can't just see him once and say, I've got the message. You got to go back and revisit it. That's the type of book you've got.
Did he say motivational eating? Is that what he said?
I said, how the hell do you correlate eating with motivational speaking?
Because if you just go see your motivation speaker one time, you're not really going to be motivated.
No, I get what you're saying. I'm sorry, Bruce. It just sounded funny.
It did. It was funny the way.
Look, he just disappeared. He goes, screw you guys.
Yeah, he's like, I'm out. Hey, by the way, cheers.
Yeah. Hey. Yeah.
Cheers to another week of Hey, I'm Talking Here.
Yep. And the show's doing really good. We're getting more and more listeners, folks. If you're listening, please share. We love when people share. Dan Greenan. Hello, my cousin. Danny, I will call you. Don't get angry at me.
I'm a motivational eater.
I'm a motivational
Randy
eater.
is a motivational wine drinker. So there's Missy Lavelle.
Missy Lavelle, that's my social media person. Folks, if you want someone to help you with your social media, you got to get a hold of Missy. Bruce, do you have her contact info? Oh, yeah. Okay. But you know what, Missy, your contact information isn't on there. So
I'm going to guess she's
there it is. Facebook. Yeah. Facebook.com/Piney Words. So you can
Missy's
connect with
probably
Missy
on Instagram, right? Probably at Missy Lavelle, I'm going to guess.
Yeah, I guess it's something like that.
Those eyes are seductive looking.
Yeah, she's got great eyes.
Look at that.
My eyes adored you, but I never laid a hand on you. What a great song. Yeah, but Missy's really cool. But folks, share. You listeners, you people that are on all the time here, don't forget to share and tell your friends about us, your family members, because our goal is to get the message out to the masses, especially today, because our topic is laugh it off, you owe it to yourself.
Yes.
And
at the Missy Lavelle. But I'm at the Eric Bam on all social media. And I not to get too much into this, but I think that's important for the days of having a business card are somewhat over, in my opinion. So anybody says, how can I get a hold of you? I'm like, you can find me at the Eric Bam on Facebook, LinkedIn, Snapchat, TikTok, everywhere. It's the same everywhere. So there you go. Enjoying each chapter as I go along. Sometimes I read a chapter more than once. Pat Lewis. Pat, you should read every chapter 12 times. That's what I'm saying.
Pat's a wonderful person. She's a friend I met at my favorite Italian restaurant, Francesco's. We've had some really heavy conversations at quite a few times. And I'm so glad you bought the book. Thank you, Pat. Appreciate it. What did Missy just say, Bruce? Oh, I'm using
that I compliment as this week's quote. Haha, there you go.
Okay, but since we gave you the compliment, I need a decrease in your fee.
Producing and craziness. So, and by the way, I have a fake eye, right? And we've had this conversation. And someone the other day said, "You have a fake eye? Is that real?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's totally real." I never would have known. And I'm like, "Well, that's why it's a fake eye. That's the whole idea." Wow. So you don't know that it's a fake eye. So I'm excited about today's show. By the way,
yeah, so am I, because it's important. It's like I said, it's laugh it off. You owe it to yourself, and you do owe it to yourself. But unfortunately, during these challenging times with gas prices, food going up, and listening to the constant bombardment of the news, war going on with Ukraine and Russia, and watching all these people suffering and everything else that's going on, you got to take time out to laugh.
Can I tell you, someone made a comment like that to me a couple weeks ago about, well, with everything going, you know what? There's always stuff going on in the world, right? And even if my world is great and your world is great, we don't know sometimes, we don't know what's going on in Missy Lavelle's head.
No.
And everyone's struggling all the time. And the thing as I thought about the subject the last 2 weeks was, I think we've got to learn to put ourselves in a place to find laughter. Go to where it is, go find it. Right?
Yeah. Well, that's the key. That's so well said. That's
why I'm here.
That's where we bond, we connect.
That's why you pay me the big bucks.
Because that's the whole thing. You got to find it, because people say to me, "Well, this is happening in my life, and this is happening in my life." Well, stop focusing on what is happening in your life. The negative stuff, no matter how severe it is. Allow yourself to temporarily step away from those moments that are bringing you down, causing you pain, whatever it is, and take a walk somewhere. And if you're seeing two children having fun and laughing, and that brings a smile on your face, that's the beginning stages of laughter. And acknowledge that you found something to smile at during this time of adversity that you're experiencing. Watch a sitcom, listen to comedy. Stand-up comedy. There's no excuse today, Eric. Anyone can go to YouTube at any time, punch in anything you want, and laugh your ass off. Look at the reruns of America's Funniest Videos.
No doubt.
It's all out there. But notice, the key is that once you start laughing, notice how much better you feel. And you're sending a message to that higher part of yourself. And that message is, wow, the fact that you could still laugh in the midst of what the hell you're going through is a sign that you're healing. And that's what it's all about.
One of the, like I said, we know what the show is going to be about coming up, and I tend to think about it. And I think the most amazing things in our world, if you're down, is to listen to babies laugh. And literally all you have to do is, if you feel like, if someone, a friend of mine the other day said, like, I feel an anxiety attack coming on.
Yep.
And I've never suffered from anxiety. I don't think I've ever suffered from depression, maybe for a minute a year, and then I move on. And I'm not wired that way. And I live a pretty good life. And I do have days when I struggle, but you want to like turn things around really quick, go to YouTube and Google babies laughing, and you will be laughing and smiling along with that, like that.
Yeah, exactly. Especially when the stupid little things make them laugh.
Yeah. It's like I said, and I'm going to say this probably 15 times before the show is over today, is you've got to find the place that makes you smile and makes you laugh. And it could be YouTube. It could be old family videos. It could be watching Steve Rizzo or listening to the Falkland Islands. There's so many places to go find funny and to go find laughter and humor. You just got to know when it's the time to go do it. Whenever I see a group of kids playing, laughing, I like to go up to them and say, "What's so funny?"
And they look at you and get scared and run the hell away.
Yeah, and Bruce pulls up in his white creeper van at the same time. So good job, Bruce. Hey, you want some candy? Theodore Legal is here. Hey, guys, sorry I'm late. I'm booming business-wise. Good.
Well, Theodore, first of all, there's no excuse. I mean, we'll accept it, but don't make this a habit, okay, pal?
We got a comment. We got videos of fainting goats. Oh, my gosh. Missy, I love the videos of fainting goats for laughter. It is so funny. You know, people want to hate, like on TikTok, as an example. I think one of the things about social media, Sean Litbach, who's a Megamind guy, friend of mine, we had this conversation during COVID about the people that say Facebook is all negative, right? Well, the problem is, the reason why your Facebook is all negative. Now, the research is kind of hard to find, but 2 years ago, 75% of your Facebook feed, okay, was your top 25 friends deemed by Facebook. The other 25% of your feed was the next 50 people. So if your Facebook feed is negative and depressing and politics and war and this and that, and those are your freaking friends. Change your friends in order to change the laughter in your life. And like I said, find the place that brings you laughter if you need it.
Absolutely. And today we have a problem because it's getting worse. We have become so politically correct that we are stifling our laughter genes and our humor genes. And right. I'm maybe I am knocking. It's that younger generation, the Z generation, that is so ultra sensitive. And if they don't get a grip on this themselves, they're going to have major problems when they get older. Yeah. Because I think the difference is that people need to understand that there's a difference between laughing at something that's serious and allowing yourself to laugh off the fear that represents the subject matter. And that's why we have laughter. That's why I always say laughter is one of the greatest gifts that God ever gave us, or Bob ever gave us. But what good is the gift if you don't open it? Yeah. And what's happening today, though, there are people actually going to comedy clubs and theaters, and they're sitting there and they're waiting for the comedian to say something that's going to offend them. And then they don't just go there by themselves. They go there with friends. They stand up, they rant and rave, and they won't shut the hell up. Yeah. That's
a very old man take, by the way. Thank you very much for the old man wisdom there. Good. Ted won't be late again. He loves us. I agree with you. Okay. I agree with you. I believe the issue is not as bad as you just made it out to be.
Oh, yeah.
I believe the problem is this. The problem is when 2% of America is offended by what maybe Steve Rizzo said on stage. The problem is they have such a bullhorn and in such an avenue to express their opinions that we as Americans overall, we cater to the 2% when the reality is, like, most people their age aren't offended, but the ones that are offended are very vocal about it, and we cave to it. So I think you're right. I think there is a little more offensive. People are more offended easier, but I think it's not as bad as It's not as bad. Nothing in this world is as bad as our phone tells us it is.
No, and you may be right, but you're right. That few are incredibly loud.
Mm-hmm.
Incredibly loud. I was given a speech a couple of years ago, and it's a true story. It's when I left my wallet, and I had a very important meeting. I left my wallet at the rental place, and I pull up to the phone booth to pay the toll booth to pay the toll, and I didn't have any money. I left my wallet, and the guy in the booth looks at me, and he goes, I looked at, because I was so upset. I didn't know what to say. I said, I'll have a couple of burgers, 2 fries, and get something for yourself there, Sparky. And he looks at me and he goes, would you like me to supersize those fries, my friend? And that's the bit. That's the way he sounded.
Right.
And I did this bit in front of 4,000 people. And the meeting planner, I won't tell you the company, was a major Fortune 100 company. And the meeting planner got offended, stating that I was making fun of people from India. I'm saying it was an impression. It was a true story. If the guy had a Jamaican accent, I would have done that.
Right. If that's the way the guy really sounded, what's wrong with that?
Exactly. That's my point.
It's almost, have you seen, I guess maybe we'll run down this rabbit hole a little bit, but there was some actor recently who acted in something as a paraplegic or something like that, and people were upset that why didn't they use a paraplegic? It's acting.
Exactly.
It's acting.
Exactly. That's why. I know.
So,
I think if Robin Williams, may he rest in peace, was alive today, and he was on Oprah and he started going through the audience doing that gay voice, I bet it wouldn't be allowed today.
Right. By the way, Joe Soto said that was a damn good impression.
Oh, thank you very much, Joe. I want to tell you from the bottom of my heart, I love you, my friend. I do so much appreciate you.
Dan Greenan commented, "We are divided as a country, very sad." And I'm gonna say it again. I don't think we're as divided as our phone tells us we are. You know what? Poll your friends, and I realize your friends are probably very like-minded people. I just don't think we're as divided as we.
But some of those people have the power. When
well,
somebody not now, but somebody else took over Twitter. And we know who that was. But before that, if you said something that Twitter people didn't agree with, and you were just banned from it. If you say something on YouTube, as a matter of fact,
is that you dancing up there? What is this?
I don't think that's me. I don't know how that. I don't know who put that. Who put that there?
That's Bruce. Maybe that's Bruce.
Bruce, what the hell are you doing? What is that?
That's Joe Soto. That's Elon Musk. That's what that is. That's Elon.
Oh, okay. It's Elon Musk. But think about it.
Yeah.
People are they're the ones that are in power.
Right.
You can't say. Look what happened to Joe Rogan when he was. YouTube told him they said there's certain things you couldn't do, and they took him off of YouTube. They took certain things, and he said, "Well, screw you," and he went to Spotify. And
he's just fine.
Oh, well, $250 million he got from them.
Yeah. Joe Soto's chimed in Twitter, people. I read an article. We talked about this actually on the penalty box the other day, and you were our guest on there, but was talking about how Elon Musk said he'd like to quadruple the amount of people on Twitter by 2028, I think, to 28. I wrote the number down.
Yeah.
It's a big number, but anyway, not to get too much into Twitter. I'm not a big Twitter fan. It's my least favorite of the social media. But if you want to find funny stuff on Twitter, there is plenty of it.
Yeah,
there's plenty of it. Joe, I've re-engaged on Twitter again, and that's interesting. He says that because I've actually done that a little bit too since Elon Musk, and not because I ever felt censored, because I'm not posting stuff that's going to be censored. Steve, you're spot on. We need to take the power back.
Yeah, we do. And it's not that difficult to do. We have to be afraid of that, as you say, the small minority, because they're loud. They're loud. And I always say to other speakers, you can have thousands of people giving you a standing ovation, and all it takes is one or two people that really got offended by something that you said, and they'll make a louder noise than the other 3,998 people. And that's what we got to watch out for.
Well, or one bad review, right?
Yeah, right, Randy. If it's funny, it's funny. And if you can't find the humor, don't go to the club.
Right.
Don't do it. Just don't, I have a friend that I haven't seen in so many years. When I was performing at the Comedy Store as a comedian in the early 90s, and his name was Steve Moore. And he came up to me before right before he was going on, and he said, I was just diagnosed with HIV positive, and back then when you were diagnosed with that, Eric, that was pretty much a severe sentence. Okay,
Right.
And I said, "Wow, how are you dealing with it?" He said, "Watch me." This guy went on stage and he did 20 minutes of his act on being HIV positive. And he had 400 and some odd people in that audience fucking laughing hysterical. Right. And I'm thinking, this guy's making people laugh at that point was the most serious topic in the country, in the world, because people were dying all over the world from this disease. But here's the cool thing. When he allowed himself to confront this virus that he had from a humorous perspective, he started going back for his blood tests, and the doctors were becoming very amazed that his white blood count went up phenomenally. And he swears it's because he's been able to deal with this challenge instead of hiding from it and laughing off the fear that represented the subject matter. As a matter of fact, it wasn't too long after that where HBO gave him his own special on laughing off the fear.
Yeah.
So that's why we need laughter. And that's why it's important that we don't, if you don't like a particular comedian, don't go to the club, don't go to the theater.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's
Ted's comment there? I as a disabled individual do get offended when a disabled person isn't playing a disabled part in movies and shows. Okay. Disabled people aren't hired enough in the acting field. That's fair based off of what I just said, but you do have, it is acting. So if it's acting, it's portraying someone, and I'm not disagreeing, Ted. Maybe more disabled people should be hired. I don't disagree with that. But are disabled people applying for those positions too? Could be part of it. And I understand where you're coming from.
But I think that's the challenge for an actor. This show should be live streaming on Twitter.
Well, it should, and it can very easily. So we need to, Steve, do you have a Twitter?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we can easily put this on Twitter at the same time.
Yeah, I'll put it on yours too.
I think we get Elon Musk to watch. So,
I think Missy's doing that. I'm pretty sure Missy, my social media person, is putting every show. I keep touching my head. I can't help it. All right, it's either that or go down here, and I just don't want to do that.
So, on a scale of 1 to 10, like how handsome do you think Joe Soto is? I mean, he's a pretty handsome dude.
Oh yeah, Joe Soto's. Yeah.
I mean, I'd make out with him if I was a chick.
I don't know where your segues come from. Somewhere. I don't know. I don't. He's not going to come back on now.
No more.
He goes, "That's it. I thought I liked the show. I don't like it that much anymore."
Log out.
Yeah.
Log out.
And the whole point of the show, folks, is, man, if you feel the urge to laugh, do it. And if you don't feel the urge, and if you feel you can't find it, that's when you need it the most. And it's up to you to dig deep and just look for it and allow yourself to do it. As a matter of fact, I'd like to show a video clip from The Word According to Bob right now. Then we'll get back to it. This is why important and how important laughter is, even in the midst of extreme adversity. And the message is in the book somewhere. But this isn't it, but okay.
Well, we got a great comment from Joe. Joe said he was looking in the mirror. What did I miss?
We interrupt this program to bring you a special news bulletin. Bruce, can you find the video clip? Years ago, I attended the wake and funeral services of a dear friend. Now, I've been to many wakes and funeral services throughout the course of my life, but there was something really special about this one in particular. Awareness came over me that caused me to view the losses in my life from a totally different perspective. When the funeral service was over, a group of us met at a relative's house. Now, as you can imagine, there were still people consoling one another. But from across the room, I overheard someone telling a story about my friend, and I noticed that a few people were laughing along with it. And then someone else joined in on the conversation and told a story about my friend's love for football. And before long, everyone was in this room laughing and reminiscing about the good times they had. And in the midst of all of this laughter, I had a strange uplifting, powerful feeling come over me. And this feeling can best be described as what I now call a smile from within. I realized I was no longer grieving over my friend. My energy level immediately shifted and I was temporarily delivered from my pain. And it wasn't just me. We all felt that special connection to him in that moment. In fact, his wife even said, I miss him and I always will, but right now I feel as if a part of him is with us and always will be. And then her brother jumped in and said, yeah, I know what you mean. It's as if he's saying to all of us, it's okay, I'm okay. Everything is as it should be, and I will always be with you. At that given moment, my friend's death was not the point of focus. The only thing that mattered to all of us was the powerful feeling we were all experiencing. And we were all celebrating and embracing our spirit of love for him. And I believe it was our ability to laugh and reminisce about the good times that ignited that powerful sense of spirit. In such a very short time, our humor beings took us from a place of pain and uncertainty to a place of inner peace and hope. Laughter made us realize that throughout our journey, there really are no goodbyes, only good memories. The spirit moves on, and we all move on in turn in life. We all felt that smile from within that day. And I believe laughter derives from the spirit. It has a magical way of breaking down barriers and constantly reminds us that somehow, some way, we are all connected and never alone in our times of grief. Suffering may be unavoidable, but just plain suffering can be avoided. Finding the laughter in between the tough times is essential to living a happier, healthier life. And that, my friends, is the word according to Bob. Stretch liked it.
Stretch loved it. He was all in. One of the things you said in there that I appreciated was, old friends get back together and they talk about the old days and we laugh about it. And I've said this for a long time. The good old days are always today. We just don't realize it for 10 years.
Yeah.
We're living moments right now that we'll meet together. Like, do you remember when we all laugh our asses off, right?
Yep.
And I had lunch with a buddy of mine the other day. I was talking about COVID and talking about the last 3 years, and people died and there was a lot of heartache and people lost jobs. And I don't want to take anything away from that, but we will look back on this 10 years from now and people will laugh and they will have joy. They will find joy in it caused me to leave that job that I hated and go find something that I enjoy doing. I mean, it's why we've been in the middle of the great resignation, because people aren't going back to the shitty jobs that they hated. They're finding different things. And my mom is here tonight watching my girls, and I'll never forget when my Nana passed away, my grandmother, when my Nana passed away, I had this weird feeling of, and I was there, I had this weird feeling of joy and laughter, because I sat there and just thought about all the funny, goofy, silly stuff that we did with her, and it just made me smile. And I think we will look back on COVID. A majority of people will look back on COVID. I don't want to say fondly, that's a little bit of a stretch, but look back on it a little fondly and say, that wasn't so bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we'll laugh about it.
That is so well said. Do you know when comedians pass on and people are at the funeral service and the wake services, do you know they roast the deceased? Other comedians come up and they talk about how wonderful, and there are tears, but they roast them. They say things where I roasted my mom when she passed away, and I was my mom's favorite.
Well, we're going to roast my mom only because we're going to have her. Not buried. What is it you like?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You have ashes. What is that?
Cremated.
Yeah, we're going to roast my mom because we're going to have her cremated.
Oh, yeah.
That took a long time to get there. It would have been funny if I just said it straight up. But
I had the priest laughing. And when I was finished, he goes, I've never been entertained at a wake service before.
Yeah. I mean, if you're watching this, Joe Soto is probably looking in the mirror and probably listening. But, if you're watching, if you're Dan, Gina, Pat, Joe, Barry, if you're watching this, Ted, I would challenge y'all to post in the comments. There's something that came from COVID that you look back on fondly, because I'm just telling you, there's a lot of it. And some of it for me is stuff like the Penalty Box Live with Tim, and meeting Bruce and Tim and you and Joe. I didn't know Joe. I didn't know Ted Legal, who's commented.
Exactly.
I think we can look back, and there are moments with Ted that he and I have never met, and we laugh our asses off. I've got a couple of inside jokes with Tim Lord that I could text him right now to be like, because we see the joy and the humor in things. And I'm just telling you, I think we'll look back on COVID with a little bit of fondness, because we'll see relationships and job changes and life changes and good that came out of it. The good old days are always today. We don't know it for 10 years.
Wow. You know what? You know what you just did? Hey, Matt, how you doing? Like you always say, Uncle Steve, laughter is the greatest medicine. Yes, it is. Just a little laugh will go such a long way. Yes, it will. Thanks, Matt. I appreciate it. Hope you're doing great. I'm sure you are. You just gave me our next episode is going to be on blessings in disguise.
Done. You're welcome.
Yeah, that's a great idea. That's a wonderful idea.
Throw up Joe's comment. We got to spend more time with kids and became their teachers temporarily, a blessing and a curse, but we look back fondly on it. And he's right. Like, we helped homeschool kids and we wanted to pull our hair out, but yet at the same time, it was pretty dang amazing. Barry Butler, Megamind comes to top of mind, which is a mastermind group we started. And it was just a huge, the power of sharing and collaboration. No doubt. Gina says, great words. There's Ashley Yoakum, mortgage manager, mortgage person to the stars. Appreciate time with my kids more. The little things like game night, I appreciate more. I'm just telling you, we could name a million things that came from COVID. And by the way, if you're out there in the United States and you need some help with mortgage stuff, Ashley's your person. She's amazing. But we will look back on COVID, and we will 10 years from now, minus the heartache and some of the issues. And I think a family member or whatever, but we'll look back on COVID in a lot of ways with a lot of joy, because it changed our lives for the good.
Yeah. This show wouldn't have been happening if it wasn't for COVID.
Oh, this thing was destined, dude.
Yeah. And it's cranking. This
kind of like Joe Soto's good looks. This was destined to happen.
Yeah.
Joe's, if I was going to go gay for anybody in the show, it'd be Joe Soto. I'm just saying.
You just said that. That's twice. Can you stop now?
Oh, sorry. Well, you gave me this platform. I'm not sure. I went from employee without power to entrepreneur. And that Barry's a great example of that. Barry had a job.
Yeah.
Took it up and just like, I don't want to do this anymore. And that, what a huge silver lining of COVID.
Yeah. No, it is. Yeah. And we find the laughter within the tough times. Yeah. And I know so many people, as you did, that during COVID, it's the ones that made that push to enjoy themselves and focus on what was working rather than fixating on what wasn't working are the ones that survived it. And that all is a part of laughter, folks.
Yeah.
It's not just an outburst of laughter. It's smiling during the day. It's that's what your humor being does.
Yeah.
Remember, everyone, your humor being is of your higher self. It's a part of you that always brings out the best in you when times are tough. It's making that attempt, and sometimes pushing yourself to acknowledge what's good rather than fixating on what life is currently throwing at you. And we don't have the power to do it.
It's internal dialogue, right?
Yeah.
It's just the internal dialogue to find the humor in whatever. I got accused by my sister of being toxic positive, and I will take being toxic positive any day over being toxic negative or just being middle of the road. And I tend to deal with things with humor and tough situations with humor because I know what's good for my soul.
I went on a couple of years ago. I started interviewing people from various aspects of their careers. I interviewed military people, and my brother Michael was one of them. People, doctors and nurses who worked in emergency wards in hospitals,
right?
Firemen, police officers, and they all said this: humor is essential, but it's warped humor. It's sick humor. It's some people would say, whoa.
Well, you got that.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I heard that. but it was essential. There was one guy that there was a massive accident. So I'm not going to mention the hospital or anything. He was one of the doctors, and they were called in, and bodies were being brought in, and he said they felt the emotional pressure, and they knew that if the more bodies that were coming in with the few people that they had to handle this, if they didn't do something, they wouldn't have been able to handle it.
Right.
So what happened was this guy was also an umpire on Sundays for softball teams. He had his umpire's mask on, and every time somebody was moved from room to the next, and he's going, "He's out of here," and he would keep doing that, and he kept doing it. He goes, first, everyone was looking at him like he was going crazy, but all of a sudden, everyone started doing it, and they're laughing their asses off. And it made an emotional shift in the way that we're dealing with all of the pain and the death that was transpiring in that room.
Yeah. Yeah. Very good. Very good.
The same thing.
Yeah. No, you're right. There's another Barry. Hey, I was able to take a 4-month master gardening course. It was mostly on Zoom where it used to be on a work day. And so there's another silver lining of COVID, which I don't know what the funny in that is, but still. But Eric, I thought I was the man. You are the man, Teddy Vivian.
Yeah, but he's comparing himself with Soto now.
Yeah. No one compares to Joe Soto. Dan, good evening, gentlemen. Talk tomorrow. Steve, love you.
Love you too, Dan. That's my cousin.
You don't love me, Dan? What's up with that?
Well, he's my cousin. All right.
Sure.
You need
sure.
Mr. Insecurity all of a sudden.
Well, Joe Soto's here. He makes every man insecure. Like, come on.
God. We're going to start a day following up.
In your head again.
I know. I keep doing that. You did that to me.
I know. Anyway.
Well, man, this was cool, folks. Everyone that's listening, thank you for your messages. And Bruce, did we leave anyone out?
Well, I have a question.
Sure.
When you make grilled cheese, have you ever tried it with mayonnaise on there instead of butter? Have you heard about this? Have you heard about this? Have you ever tried that?
I put relish on grilled cheese.
Relish, like inside the grilled cheese?
No, it's when it's cooked. You put the relish on it when it's cooked, and then you put it's really good.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really good.
I was powdering my nose.
I was powdering my nose. What did I miss? It would have been funny if he said I was douching.
Hey, we have to ban Joe because he makes the rest of us look bad.
Ban him. It makes us look bad.
Yes.
That's pretty funny.
Good evening, Steve and Eric. Another great show. Tom, how are you? Good to see you.
Tom is a friend of mine that I've known since second grade. Grade. Do you believe
I've always like secretly held out hope that I would get to be on Not Your Average Joe, but after today, there's zero chance I'm ever going to be on Joe Soto's show. But that's okay. Ashley gave us one of these. Denny Page, your boy Denny Page wants a shout out.
Oh, Denny, yes. Oh, and by the way, everyone, I have to give a special happy birthday to Nash Page. That is Denny's son. It's just kind of weird. I've known Nash for 25, 27 years, and I never met him.
Really?
Yep. Heard so much about him. We've communicated in different ways, but that's Denny's son, and it's his birthday, and happy birthday, Nash. And by the way, Denny, I wasn't going to forget. I had the paper right here. See? Right here. And I was going to say at the very end of the show.
Did you ever watch that show, Boston Legal? It was one of my favorite shows back in the day. It was Denny Crane.
Denny Crane, yeah.
He would walk, he'd be like, Denny Crane. So I can see Denny like Denny Page.
I used to tell Denny all the time, Denny Page, that she'd be Denny Page, private eye.
We got a little thumbs up from Coach Bill Adams. Bill Adams is a coach of Liberty Baseball, so he's on watching here locally.
Cool. Thanks, Bill.
I always enjoy listening to you guys make my day. Well, we enjoy looking at your profile picture, Ashley. You're beautiful.
That's very
get Steve's book and review it on Amazon for sure. Like, I don't know if I propped this thing up enough, but here it is. I'm on my second read now. My favorite chapter is the chapter about action. I am all about action. Action can create happiness. It doesn't always, but action can create happiness and get you off your couch. Most people are paralyzed to their couch.
Yes. And you know what? Please give a testimonial after you read the book, because it's important. My goal, this has nothing to do with money. This has to do with me getting the message out to the masses. That's why we have this show. That's why, fuck you, Eric.
There's one more comment from Pat. I've heard about using mayo instead of butter. Supposed to be great, But sorry, now Pat, you need to give Mayo a chance. I'm telling you, it's a game changer. It is a game changer. Now, I've never heard about doing relish, but game changer. Pat, come back. We'll be back on in a couple weeks, maybe next week. Who knows? We'll be back on. Will you please give us a review on the mayonnaise on the on the grilled cheese sandwich, please?
You finished?
Yes.
Okay. And thanks for egging them on, Pat. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, we'll try.
We'll try.
We'll try. Thank you. Oh, that's a female,
shit,
right?
I don't believe this.
Yeah, Pat, please let
and
us
by the
know.
way, I like the fact that you brought up the chapter in the book called Action, because that's something most people don't know about the law of attraction. And I think that is where the secret screwed up a lot.
Yeah.
Because they kept saying all you have to do is think about it and you'll get it. There's a little thing called taking action. You know what I mean? And you've got to do your part. You've got to meet the universe or God, halfway. Yeah. You got to do your part.
I posted a video about that the other day on Facebook. I think not, and I know we're maybe trying to wrap this up, but I'll throw this out there just because you brought it up. But I believe when God lays something on your mind or on your heart, it's your job to put the work behind it. It's also why God gives you 2 hands and 2 feet and a mind, and it's to go chase down what's been put on you. And it's talking about it, it's praying about it, it's telling your friends about it, it's following people on social media that can either educate you or help you get to what you want. It's putting an action plan in place. It's doing all the things. We as adults, and you and I've had this conversation, at some point as adults, we stop saying I'm going to, and we say I wish this happened. I wish that happened. I wish.
Absolutely.
And it is about action.
It is about action. It's like Bob says in the book, dreams will remain dreams unless you take action. That's where that saying comes from. God helps those who helps themselves.
Yeah.
You gotta do your part. And as you do that with faith and belief that it's going to happen, even though you're going to hit snags, there's going to be mistakes, maybe a lot of them, maybe major mistakes. But if you learn from them and you keep persevering, man, you would be surprised what you can create in your world, which is why one of the principles is you really are the creator of your success and happiness.
Even if you write down a list of goals, and my goal list is sitting in here on the counter and you've seen it before, even if you write down a list of 20 goals and 20 things you want, if you hit 70% of those, you're 70% ahead of where you would have been if you didn't write them down and talk about them, pray about them, tell your friends about them. I had 2 people this week that on Facebook both said, this is the last time I tell anybody about what I want. And I disagree with that. I think you tell everyone. And I think the reason you do that, it lets your friends somewhat hold you accountable. Hey, where are you at with that? They're going to bust you in a good way, right? And I think 2, once again, the world's not as bad as our phone tells us it is. I think there are great people out there that are in our circle of influence that want to help you hit your goals. If they see that your goal is to have a Stretch Armstrong, do you know how I got this? I have 2 of these, by the way. I posted another Christmas, no Stretch Armstrong. I had 2 of my friends send me a Stretch Armstrong. Because people still want to help. Now, this is probably a little goofy that they wanted to do it to be silly, but people still genuinely want to help other people. We don't let them help us when we hold things inside, and we don't tell them, and we don't talk about them. We don't tell our friends about them.
Yeah, I know. Well, a lot of people are afraid that other people are going to shoot their dream down. Well, if you allow other people to shoot your dream down, that's on you.
They're not your friends.
They're not your friends, first of all. Yeah.
Yeah. So you've really never tried a grilled cheese sandwich with mayonnaise?
No.
Okay. Well, we'll
not going to
test that out over the next couple of weeks. So what else you got? We wrapping this up for today?
We're wrapping this up today. And but now you got me making a grilled cheese sandwich with mayo.
Do you know what I love about you?
Know what?
Everything.
That's a great saying. I love when you say that. As per my Greek wife, the cooks in the diners use mayonnaise to make the grilled cheese sandwiches. Really? Didn't know that.
There you go. Tom knows.
Yeah.
Game changer.
Tom Steniford knows.
I keep waiting for any minute for boom, 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 for the music to start, because Bruce is going to fire us out of here at any minute. Right?
He can't fire us out. This is our show. But it's his show too. He could fire us. He's running all the stuff.
Yeah. All right. Get ready. Here it comes.
Folks, go online, purchase the book. I promise you will not regret it. And tell your friends about the show. Please share. And this is just simply a show about empowerment, how to get to a better place in your life, personally and professionally. I love you all. Thank you for listening. Denny, I'll connect with you soon.
Age.
And Nash, happy birthday. And buy the book. Oh, Lisa.
There you go, Lisa. I remember seeing your post about Stretch. I was going to get you one, but others beat me to it. LOL. There you go. See, I would have had 3 Stretch Armstrongs.
Okay. I hope you achieve that, Eric.
All right, let's get out of here.
All right.